Just what I always wanted to be, a trucker.
10-4, good buddy.
Some of you remember when ELDs, or electronic logging devices, were first mandated to be put in big trucks. The government and the trucking industry claimed that the main reason was to keep truck drivers and other vehicle operators safer. But that was just a side dish as to why ELDs exist. The real reason that ELDs are in trucks is control. We as citizens must be tracked and documented at all times, and to shrink it down to trucking, the way to track is with electronic tags in our equipment. More than that, these devices are listening to us, same as our phone devices already do, so that to take part in trucking, even as a company driver, we gotta realize that our privacy is always just an illusion. Most people that truckers must deal with have little to no concept of a device that is nearby, counting down the minutes of our workday. It might be the forklift operator who sits there, getting paid by the hour, chatting with some coworker he thinks is cute, instead of driving up into your trailer and doing work so you can be on your way. Maybe the load you're carrying is poorly stacked, palletized, wrapped, or sloppy in some other way, forcing extra time and work necessary to pick it up. Or, the load you're carrying is okay, but you're the one who messed up because you drove too fast or took corners and curves too quickly, forcing extra time and work necessary to pick it up. Sometimes accidents and traffic jams are on the road ahead of us. Maybe we are even part of the accidents. We might get stopped by police or Department of Transportation or at scale houses. Truckers are only humans, and need to stop for fueling, for water breaks, or to get a bite to eat. All these things can get to nibbling at your on-duty time and total work hours in a day. And those are just commonalities that happen every day. The worst things that happen usually involve the people and companies we deal with. If you are a trucker, just understand that your time will be wasted and taken advantage of. No way around this. It's not just about the fact that you can't get the world and the people in to move as you would like. It is sometimes that people intentionally go out of their way to throw you off. And sometimes, people are new at their job, and or being asked to multitask far beyond what they should be expected to do, and or are horribly distracted in whatever way, and it trickles down onto you as a truck driver. Don't expect them to understand what you go through, having driven hundreds of miles, dodged 50 speed racers on the highway, backed into the dock without incident, and then be told to stand aside while someone yawns and scratches his backside for a half hour, until he gets his focus together enough to deal with you. You might have to play it hard depending on the situation. You might have to back it down when you can't force things to move more quickly. Whatever it is, you as a trucker must adjust quickly and accept the atmosphere and the outcome. You've also got to accept that these electronic clocks have changed slightly every few months, but they still seem to have been engineered by people who don't really understand trucking and who thought they were too smart to ask real truck drivers for input on the designs. One issue, just one, is that the clocks are too sensitive. Once you go on duty, you normally cannot move around a yard or parking area without it clicking onto driving. I've had instances where I was off duty or on a break according to the clock, and pushing in my air brakes to coast downhill a few dozen yards was enough to put me back on driving, effectively ruining my brake and causing me to start it over. This is infuriating and, to be short, stupid. I should be able to move around a terminal, from guardhouse to drop lot, for example, without the clock playing Gestapo on me by going back to driving because I went 14 miles per hour for a quarter mile, and pretending it is about safety or some such nonsense. When the logging devices first came into trucking, I was still riding with a trainer as a rookie driver. We wanted to get out of the company's terminal, to get a late night meal at a Waffle House. Only thing was, we had an early morning load, and if the clock turned on, we'd have to wait hours to leave. So he crept through Nashville residential neighborhoods going 10 miles per hour in our sleeper to keep from tripping the truck's Qualcomm to drive. I believe some of the clocks have been adjusted to beat this kind of trick, to now go into drive after a certain distance, no matter how slowly you go. Is that about safety? No. It's just an inconvenience. There was a grocery warehouse in Pennsylvania that took 6 hours to unload me. Capstone, or some similar lumper service that ran that dock, were criminally slow and would not be bribed nor pushed. When these slugs finally emptied my trailer, the grocery management threw me off the property, not allowing me to take the rest of my 10-hour break on site, though I was out of hours and it was nearly midnight. Too late to find a spot at the local truck stop. Back then, ELDs were fairly new, and a lot of the tips and tricks about editing the time weren't well known yet. Personal conveyance wasn't a thing yet, or if it was, I didn't know about it. I ended up parking on a rest area on ramp. My alarm clock was other truckers yanking their horns at me for partly blocking the exit at 7 a.m. Some drivers like the electronic clock for whatever reasons. They might like that these clocks force companies to give what they call proper rest on the drivers. Some drivers despise it because of governmental overreach, or the technological glitches that inevitably occur. I remember a few older drivers even retiring just on principle. Others don't have much of an opinion, and this last group includes me. The devices are simply a part of the mandatory changes in the industry. The devices are designed by fallible men, and therefore are going to have and cause problems for us as truck drivers and owner-operators. But just because I shrug my shoulders at it, doesn't mean I have to love it.